Good morning. We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree? Yes. It is co-creating at its best. We see you have dragged your physical bodies here. We have come without them. Co-creation at its best. You are more than you know that you are. Do you know that? Well, if you knew that, then that sentence would make no sense. You are more than you know that you are. We'd like to remind you that you were before you are. You were vibrational beingness before you came to this body. But the word were isn't the right word, because while you were it, you still are it, even though you are this. In other words, the non-physical part of you certainly existed before that personality that is you was born into this time-space reality. But that non-physical part of you still exists, even though you are here. And the reason that we talk to you like that about it is because sometimes you affect a seeming unnecessary separation between that you and this you. And your emotions are all about that. That non-physical part of you who existed before you came into this body is now the furthest, most expanded vibrational part of you, because as you sift through life and know what you don't want, and therefore identify sometimes more vividly than others what you do want, you emanate a vibration that the larger part of you receives and becomes. So every time you ask for an improvement of any kind, the non-physical part of you becomes that improvement. You like that? Becomes that improvement. Now, the question that this gathering is really all about is, when that broader part of you becomes the improvement, are you becoming it too? And the answer to that question is usually no, not right at the beginning, because you launched the rocket out of contrast, and you're usually a vibrational match to the status quo. You're usually a vibrational match to what you've been observing, which is what caused you to launch the rocket. But it takes focus to become a match to what you want. In other words, when you are in a situation where more money would be beneficial to you, and you're feeling the discomfort of not having enough money, you're launching a rocket that is requesting more money. And the vibrational part of you becomes more prosperous, becomes a further vibrational match to the attraction of that abundance. But you usually don't immediately, in the request for more money, begin to feel the prosperity that you've asked for. Because it often is the not enoughness of money that has caused you to focus on that to begin with. And that's the vibration that you've got going on. And it is usually the vibration that you continue to perpetuate, because your physical reality that is being translated so clearly through your physical senses is so vivid to you. You're seeing it and hearing it and smelling it and tasting it and touching it. It's reality that has your attention. And we want to help you to give a little more of your attention to the reality that's in the making in terms of manifestation, rather than the reality that has already come into manifestation. So we're talking about momentum, because anything that is vibrationally active within you for a while gains momentum. And the more momentum it gains, the more reality you begin to observe around it, you see. So we are talking all day here today in vibrational terms. We're going to be talking to you about the way you can discern most accurately your vibrational frequencies. We're going to be talking to you about how you can discern your vibrational frequencies and then do something about it. But everything that we're going to be talking to you about today, with you about today, is that you are vibrational beings. You have a point of attraction. You have more ability to have control of your point of attraction than you've been exercising. We're going to demonstrate how relatively easy it is to gain control of your point of attraction. And then the real fun is going to be in the days that follow as a result of the resetting of your vibrational set point. That will happen here today. You're not going to be able to withstand the knowledge that we have about you. We know so clearly who you are and why you're here. And as you listen to us, even scantily, because we're persistent, as you listen to us, your vibration is going to move upward into the vicinity of who you are. So we want to call your attention now to this point of attraction, because this really is where all of your power is. You have the power right here and right now, and nobody else has that power for you. And you don't exercise it very well, but you're going to get better and better at it. You have the power right here and now to affect a vibration, to launch a vibration, to offer a vibration, to enact a vibration, to get a vibration going, to offer a vibration, to emit a vibration, to send a vibration, to send out a signal. You have the ability to do it right here, right now. So we're calling this your vibrational grid. It's like this is your vibration. You know how the frame of a house looks before the walls go up or even the roof goes on? It's a framework that will fill in with all of the textures and fabrics and details of your life. But it's a vibrational grid. That's where you stand. Right here. Right here. You stand here. Now we want to talk to you about what vibration or what emotion you are holding or maintaining or emitting while you're standing here in your powerful now. Are you elated? So the grid spins, and we want you to think of the grid as an emotional grid. So pure positive energy, elation, exhilaration, love, appreciation, high flying, good feeling. Ooh, high flying. Or there is depression, not so high flying. Or there is overwhelmment, not so low but not so high flying. In other words, all of the emotions that you know, they equal these sort of spinning grids, these points of attraction. And you've got different grids on different subjects. And you've sort of got a medium grid. You've sort of got the grid where you usually hang out. So we're going to drive you a little crazy because we're going to call it your grid. We're going to call it your high-flying disc. We're going to call it your spinning grid. We're using every word that we can find because we want you to begin to understand your point of attraction and what you're doing with it. And even more important, we want you to understand the vibrational grid that you're choosing and its relationship to this high-flying vortex that is you. In other words, you can't set your radio dial on 98 FM and hear what's being broadcast on 93 FM. The frequencies have to match up. So we want you to understand that your vortex, the vibrational version of you, all that you have become, it's that you that was you before you came into this body that's been expanding as a result of everything that you've been living in this body. This high-flying vortex that is you has a very high frequency that you got to find if what's in your vortex is going to flow into your reality so that you then can see it, hear it, smell it, taste, and touch it. In other words, you've got to get on the wavelength of it or you're not going to realize it. You're not going to have the actualization, the realization, the manifestation, the demonstration. All of those things, all of those words mean the same thing. You're not going to know it in that truest, physical, visceral, this is the way I'm living, this is who I be sense, unless you are a consistent vibrational match to it. Does that make sense to you? You begin to get this invincible feeling when you understand that you are your point of attraction and that you can control your point of attraction. Then you begin to understand that you can carve out a path of least resistance to anything that you want. Better said, you can carve out a path of least resistance to anything wanted or unwanted. And do you know how you carve out a path of least resistance? By giving it attention. Because when you give it attention, you offer a vibration, and law of attraction brings more vibrations like it until a momentum begins to happen that carves out a path of least resistance between you and it. And as you carve out paths of least resistance between you and whatever your subject of attention is, then you go to it and it comes to you. You rendezvous. You become one. You become co-creative partners, wanted or unwanted, because you've carved out the path of least resistance. Esther has a beautiful stream and pond in Texas at the center, at the Abraham Hicks Publication Center. Such a pretty thing. And the stream, when it was first put in, was so clear. The fish were so beautiful, but over the years, it became increasingly cloudy until Esther realized she couldn't see the fish. So finally it was determined that the pipes bringing the water back into the pond were all clogged up from neglect. So they just laid some new pipes. It was easier than digging the old ones out. It was easier than trying to clean the old ones out. They tried all of that. They just laid new pipes from the pump to the pond. And right away, the pond cleared up. So we want to say to you that we love you so much, but you've got some clogged pipes. Because you're asking for things. Step one, you're asking. And non-physical, the universe, law of attraction, is delivering to you the results of your request. But if you are not in a vibrational place that matches what you're asking for, your pipes are all clogged up. So we think that it's time to lay some new pipes. We want to show you how, by giving attention to what you are wanting, you will carve out a path of least resistance to what you're wanting. So we're eager to talk with you about anything that matters to you. We're going to be visiting about the momentum of your experience. Every subject is two subjects. On one end of this stick is what you want, and on the other end of it is the absence of the very same thing. So every subject is really two subjects, wanted and absence of it. So when you give your attention to something, whether it's something wanted or the absence of something wanted, when you give your attention to it and you maintain your attention for as little as 17 seconds, another thought like it will join it. And that's that thought momentum that we want you to focus upon. Hold that thought for another 17 seconds and another thought like it joins it, and another 17 seconds, another thought. And by the time you cross the 68-second mark, 17 seconds, you've got 17 seconds to decide the momentum of a thought. And if during that 17 seconds you stay with it and another thought joins it, now that thought has more power. And once you cross that 68-second mark, you've got enough momentum going that it will be likely that you will follow through with the momentum of that thought into some sort of manifestation. So we just want to call your attention to that, because when you begin to recognize how powerful your thoughts are, it makes you want to flow them with a little bit more precision. This is going to be a conversation of true fine-tuning. We don't want you to freak out about the thoughts that you're thinking. We see you cancel, trying to suck them back. Esther said to someone the other day, I have something to tell you and I only have 17 seconds to do it in. She was very fast in her conversation. But we want you to realize that you have the capacity to choose a high-flying disc. Your probability of finding it is first thing in the morning, before other things have become active that make it more difficult. So now you understand about law of attraction, don't you? And now you're understanding a bit about your disc, choosing your thought, your relationship with who you are, yes? You have a sense of momentum. So you're understanding momentum of thought. So now you understand all of the elements to become a deliberate creator of your own experience. We're eager to talk with you about anything that matters to you. Don't worry about us. We will wedge our message in the crack. It is our expectation that together we will discover new nuggets of refinement and new methods of application. And most of all, new heartfelt, from your standpoint, reason for more deliberate focus. We know that you want to be the deliberate creator of your experience. We know that for the most part you aren't the deliberate creator of your experience. That you are doing more creating by default, by habit of thought, by old belief, by old pipes, than you really mean to. A belief is just a thought you keep thinking. It's a habit of thought. It's a thought that has enough momentum that things are actualizing around it, and that's why you believe it.